Hi friends, Kansi here from atop Serenity Hill, and today I have a folio for you that is something you can print. You can purchase and print yourself to make your own deconstructed art journal. All right, and I'm going to show you how I made it, what it looks like, and you have 3 patterns, 1, 2, and 3 patterns to choose from. Let me show you what I did. So this is the first design for the new Folio printables that will be in my Etsy shop. This one is Misty Forest. If some of you might recognize that I have a junk journal printable with the same similar design. I just have a different background on this one. So the Folio printables come with the front. This is the folio itself that you fold up. It comes with a paper, a full sheet of something, so that you can print it on the back so that it becomes two-sided, all right? Then it comes with a variety of ephemera to go in it. So belly bands, this could be a belly band or a pocket or a tuck spot, a tag, it could be another tuck spot. It could be, just something pretty that you add on. A couple of pockets here. There's a lot of pockets. I have 2 more pockets here, 2 more pockets here, and then another just design that you could use maybe as a closure or just glue in a corner and use as another tuck spot. So lots of different ideas for you. And then there are the double of these pockets, but with very little on them so that you can layer the pockets if you want to. Another pocket here. Could be on the bottom, could be sideways, whatever you want to do. A couple of tabs, 2 tabs for you to play with as well. And so it gives you lots of options, even if you don't use all the pieces with your specific folio, then you have other pieces that you can cut out and use in your other art and junk journals, okay? Also, every folio printable comes with a sheet where you can cut out a bunch of tag shapes to stick in to the folios, because I am a very big fan of having a deconstructed art journal, and where I have something beautiful that's holding blank pieces like tags or pieces of watercolor paper or mixed media paper, any kind of paper, sketch paper, whatever it is that you want to do, tucked into pockets that then I can pull out and work on. And it's a small, simple, easy, short time project that I can work on without being overwhelmed. Okay, so this is the Misty Forest. And then we have vintage nature. I'm not 100% sure on the names right now because I'm working on that part. So this is the front, and then the back will be this old grungy papers for the inside. Okay, and then the same format where you have multiple pockets, a belly band, tag, and a little extra something. I don't know what else to call it other than a something. And the other thing I want to point out is that I did all the pockets with these tabs attached to them. When you put them down and glue the tabs, the pockets just become roomier, but you can obviously just cut them off. You can see here that one was missing. If you buy this one, it will not be missing. But when I printed it, for some reason, this part was missing. So you can just cut these off. All right, and then just glue the pocket down as is. You don't need to add those extra flaps in, all right? I'm gonna build one so we can see how that works, all right? Then we have the other pockets here, 2 side pockets. And then for this one, you have your blank pockets if you want to layer them so that you don't lose any design on the front. Another pocket or side pocket, and again, 2 tabs, all right? And then the final design is called Tea Party, and this one is a lot more elaborate. It depends how busy you like artwork. Some people like things very simple. Some people like them super elaborate, okay? The other thing I want to point out is all of the actual folio page will come with these little marks here, and that will help you if you want to score it. I'll show you when I'm doing this, but if you want to score it ahead of time, then you know where you're going to fold it, especially since a pattern like this is kind of hard to figure out where you're going to fold it. This is easy because you have a hard line here, but something like this is all one back piece, and so where would you fold it? And it just makes it a little easier for you when you have these little marks. Okay, just wanted to point that out. So this one's Tea Party. Okay, this one has a lot of vintagey florals and a postage stamp, an oversized postage stamp. This one has a few sayings on it. I also used here and on the front, let me grab it. Oh, I didn't show you the paper. On the front here is a faux wax seal so that it gives it that really vintage feel. The paper for the back of this one is this really beautiful damask print. Okay. And then we have these pockets again, and then these are the extra pockets. So these pockets I did for layering. You can still layer them because I kept the pattern kind of up high, but it just gives you another option. I didn't want to just do the damask pattern for this. I wanted to try something a little different. And again, you have your two tabs down here. All right, so I'm going to cut one of them out and put it together so you see how that works. Okay, so basically I'm just going to go through and cut everything out. Okay, I'm going to pop in real quick. This is the one I'm going to cut, and I went ahead and made marks where they would be on your piece. So you would need to score that first before you cut it out, because that way, as soon as you cut it out, you're going to cut your marks off. All right. So you want to make sure that, and you can use a scoreboard if you have it. Sometimes it's even easier just to use a ruler and score where those marks are. So that when you cut it apart, those score marks are available. And then you can just fold it up, okay? Okay, so everything is cut out, and I made some decisions off camera because you didn't need to hear all my thoughts and fiddling. So I folded up the folio, all right? So this is what it looks like folded. And it is up to you whether you want to ink it up or not. I took out some archival ink in ground espresso, and it's just a stamp pad. It is not distress ink. Because as I was laying things down, it seemed every once in a while it might help to put a little bit of darkness or just some grunge to make it stand up against this, because this is the same as this. All right, something to think about. I will not use all the pieces, okay? So it is quite possible that I'm going to use as many as I can just to give you some ideas. But don't forget that you can print this twice, and then you would have all the pockets, and you could probably get two out of the printable. Okay, print this twice, and then all your pockets and all your little itty bits, and then you could build two folios, one for you, one for a friend. All right, so here's my thoughts. Let's go inside first. So on the inside, I also I folded one of these over so that you could see what it looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like. So you can see that you would end up gluing these little tabs down, and you have a little more bulk inside, as opposed to just cutting everything out and then it's just a flat pocket. Okay, so there's that. So I'm going to put this side pocket here. All right, and I need to score it. So I'm just going to score along the line. Whoops, don't score on top of your project. So score and score, because this is a fairly, this could be a fairly big side pocket, and I could probably put a couple different tags in that. Okay, so fold it back and smush it down. turn off my fan. I think you can hear my fan. There you go, in case you were wondering what that noise was. All right, so then I have this pocket, which I will glue in this. All right, so this is where I'm going to test out my espresso and just see, does it help? Okay, so it also takes up some of the white. That's, you know, that's the reason everyone uses Distress ink, is so it doesn't look, you can't see the white cuts. All right, so I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to, as I'm going, I'm going to glue them down. I'm using my art glitter glue. All right, so I'm gluing, this time I'm gluing the tabs, not the pocket. And then I like to float my pockets just ever so slightly. What I mean by float, let me push it down and then I'll pull it to the camera, is that I don't go straight to the edge. I like to have a bit of a border, okay? So I'm gonna put that pocket there, and then I have this little ladybug medallion, and I thought, well, why don't I glue that up in the corner? I'm just gonna glue it where it's held down so that I can tuck something underneath. All right, so I want this side not to have anything. And I want to glue from about here to here. We're going to try that. This is a test, y'all, a test. I just thought, why not try things with you? And that way, if it doesn't work, you know not to do that, okay? So let's let that dry. On this side, I'm going to layer two of the pockets that have the V shape. I cut all the tabs off because I wanted it to, there's going to be a lot of layering with this one. And so I didn't want the bulk of those tabs. So I cut them off. So that, you know, having them as part of the kit just helps you decide what you want to do, okay? I'm also going to use the belly band, but again, I'm not putting a big notebook or a big chunk of paper behind the belly band. So I'm going to take off the two tabs. So my idea for this is to layer the belly band in the back and then put the two pockets on top. So I have multiple ways of holding tags in. So you can decide which way you want your belly band. Then I'm going to glue this, and I'm going to actually take some of this off the bottom. I don't want it to show, and I like to, as you know, float my pockets ever so slightly. Okay, just make sure. And so I'm going to put this and then have two pockets here and then the belly band in the back. So I can stick something in the belly band and I can stick in all the pockets. So first thing I'm going to do is glue down the belly band, just the top and the bottom, as centered as possible. So I'm not going to ink all the creases, okay? I'm not going to do that. If you want to do that, that's absolutely fine. As I always say, you do you, okay? So I want these two pockets here. So I need to glue one pocket. I'm going to actually glue them to each other first. I think that's what I'm going to do. So what I want to make sure is that I don't end up, I have to cross that just ever so slightly. Okay. So I'm just going to make a mark here and here. There might be an easier way to do this or a faster way. You do you. You know how I feel about that. I don't think everybody has their way. Okay. You also have the option of leaving this back pocket not glued down, being because then you have the ability to go all the way through. And I think I might actually do that. All right. Why not? So we're going to glue down the side, across the bottom with my shaky hand. Make sure it is within the folds. Oops. Okay. Look how pretty. Okay, and then let's do some testing. So you can see, I want you to see, like, you can see what that pocket did when it has the tabs on it. It gives it, I could take like a full out envelope and tuck that in there, okay? It holds a lot. So this might be the kind of place to put a little sketch notebook. You could fit that in there, okay? But we're just gonna do one of those so we can fit that. And then this can hold another little tag or a square, you know, whatever you want. I like this little heart. Fits really pretty up in there, okay? And then we have here. So we have our belly band, okay? We have our top pocket, which goes all the way down because we left the space. And then we have our front pocket, okay? So you have the ability to put multiple things in this section, all right? And I'm gonna pull them out so we'll deal with that later. Okay, I have an idea for this, but first we're gonna go to the inside section. And I have, where are my two pieces? Here we go. So I'm gonna layer these pockets as well. So I have this pocket, okay? I also used, instead of cutting out the circles that were there, I used a punch. I have this punch, so that's why it's got a bit of a scallop to it. You could just hand cut them, or, you know, you could cut them with whatever shape you want. The white is there for you to use as a guide, but you do you know what I say. But mine just happens to be a scallop, okay? So don't be afraid to use whatever you have. So my thought with this was, again, with kind of like the idea with the belly band, like the layering. So if I have this side pocket here, okay, which I would have something going here, and then I glue this pocket on top, then I still have the ability to go here, all right? And then I have all this yummy design. So first pocket that's going down is this one. And I want to aim it so that this is pretty even. Okay. I swear my hands with the shaky hands. It's a good thing you don't have to glue perfection, right? Okay. So I've got my side pocket. And then I'm going to put my other pocket. And you could have made this one with the tabs. Let's judge that a smudge bit. You could have done this one with the tabs so that it was a bulkier pocket to put something in. You definitely have so many options, which I love, okay? So now you can put something in here, and you can still put something in here, all right? And then you have lots of yummy happening. And then when you fold this over, just making sure, okay, fold this over, then you have even more layering of pattern, all right? And then we have our back. And on the back, I am going to do one of the layered pockets and then a flat pocket. All right, and then in your kit is also one tag that's actually got some pattern on it, and I have a tab. So I'm going to attach one of these tabs up there, just for fun. No other reason but funsies. Okay, and then I have one other thought. So you can see that I'm layering. You don't have to layer as much with the pockets as I'm layering. You could really just use one, you know, cut out like what you would consider one set of pockets. And that way you could do 2 folios. I really didn't even think about that while I was doing it. I just wanted to have lots of options for you. But, you know, I still have this, and these left over. I'm going to do a little something with this, and the B I'm going to use as well. And then I have 1 tab left, okay? So lots of options. All right, so this one's going to be a fatter pocket. And then this one, again, we want to make sure we're just past that. That's how I think of it. So I'm going to mark that. And I am making this pocket a little bit smaller. And whoops. Also, do not glue on top of your project. It's always not a good idea. I'm going to end up making it a tiny bit smaller, I think. Maybe not. No, I'm not. All right, so that would sit here. So then I have this piece, and this is a lot of blank. So I thought, what if I use this as collage paper? And I take a piece and glue it on almost like a bit of washi tape. So that's what you saw how much I am really measuring here, y'all. I'm really measuring. Not really. You can tell. Just winging it. Because you can use this however you want, but then it just gives something fun. You could even tuck it in a little bit. That's actually kind of pretty. I might do that. Let's see. No, I'm going to leave it flat. But again, options, okay? Yep, change your mind again. Because I can. All right. Okay, and then we'll glue this down. Okay, so remember before I made a pocket so that this goes in here, and then I made the other pocket so it could go all the way in as well. I don't think I need to do that this time. I'm going to do it so that you can see the 2 differences. So we need to glue here, 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 along this base, and along this. Okay, so along the white and then the 3 tabs. Okay, and we'll give that a second to dry. And while that's drying, I'm going to take this little tab. Oops. Since I have espressoed everything, now it's like you can't stop, right? Once you've done one inky, you have to do all the inking. And don't lose these little pieces, okay? Because you could use them on another piece somewhere. You have that little like pretty ephemera collage paper for maybe something in an art journal. Okay. So it just makes it, you know, different. And I can stick that in there or stick this up in here and make it look, which I love, is like the little bird is sticking out. So I have this pocket here, okay? And then this pocket stops, it's stopping the bird because I glued down. And then I have this pocket, which is a little bit on the fuller side. You can see it has a little, ooh, you cannot see anything. It has a little more bulk to it. So I could even fit a couple of tags in there. That's the thing about gluing the pocket flat versus those back flaps, is just, again, gives it more space, okay? So there we do that. Wonderful. All right, so we still have here, which we could just glue this. The other, if I'm trying to use a lot in here, I love this pattern, and I thought, what if I was gluing that, what if I glued that down? So I'm cutting up one of the pockets to use as collage, okay? And I have to see how that fits. And these are just pinking shears, and you know, if you pink it a couple different times, you get lots of different little weird cuts. Guess who just discovered that? Me, just now. Okay, so just cutting off these little extras. Love it. And I can put maybe I have lots of quotes and sayings or a word, you know, like if you were doing this for a friend, it could be that you use it as a way to put a sentiment in there. Maybe it's for a special occasion, and that could be the sentiment. It could be that you personalize it, put the person's name. Okay, whatever works. But it's just another way of adding something else on the flap that doesn't have any decoration. All right, so the final thing is my little bee here, and I could have, I didn't do the inking around that, but I don't think it necessarily needed it, so not a big deal. So the final thing I wanted to do is I wanted to give it some kind of a closure, and you can do your favorite closure. It doesn't necessarily need a closure. It could just be, you know, a hidden paper clip if you wanted to do that. This piece that we used for this, here it is, this extra would also be probably enough paper to make a hidden paper clip. So just, if you've never done one, look here on YouTube and I'm sure you'll find one. And maybe some of the stuff that you pull out of the folio could be used for that. All right, so my idea, and yes, there's white on the back of this. I did not print anything on the back of it. And so I can actually work on that. You could tell how off I was by this. But I want to glue the bee down with some sari ribbon, okay? And this sari ribbon is super, super thick. So I'm going to cut a piece of sari ribbon and glue it underneath the bee, okay? And then like this, and then that would be used to keep it closed, all right? So let me cut the sari ribbon. Okay, so I've cut the sari ribbon in half just so it's not so bulky. Now, don't forget, I have a piece of this left over. So what if I want to put the bee here, but what if I glued this to the back of this? Y'all, I'm gonna try something. I am trying something here, because this is how what is it? You figure out ways to use up all your bits. Okay, did not need that much glue. So let's give that a minute to dry. Okay. And then I'm going to fussy cut off the piece. Okay, so fussy cut, I'm going to go back in and just, since I've inked, I must ink. Okay, so then when I add this on, now it's pretty on the back. And that was all from that extra piece. Okay, so, oh, don't forget to add the sari ribbon. Don't forget your sari ribbon, y'all. So first I'm going to put the sari ribbon down. Okay. And then we're going to glue just past where I glued that extra piece. All right. I think it's going to be easier for me to see this way. Oop, I glued the sari ribbon the wrong direction. Okay, so lesson learned, I glued the sari ribbon this way. Guess what? It doesn't matter, okay? It really doesn't matter. Don't need that much. So in a weird way, I did the sari ribbon so that it's not in the way, but here's something for you to think about. I probably should have put the sari ribbon coming this way because then it goes around. But does it really matter, people? Does it really matter? No, it does not, okay? Because it could go around, I could tuck in the back, I could tuck it in a pocket. It's still beautiful. I love it. All right, now let's fill this peppery up. Fill this folio up. So part of the kits are all these tags. Okay, you have 2 square, a heart, you have 3 of these tall, like little house shapes, and then you have 2 that look with the scallops on the top. So there's a sheet for you to print out, to just print and cut, okay? You could print it or cut them. I mean, you don't have to use them. You could use your own tags, but I just wanted to give you a starting point. So you could print it out on like a mixed media paper, or this is just cardstock. You print it on whatever works for you, okay? All right, so I got that. I probably need more tags than I have, but that's okay. This goes here. I've got this pretty tag here. So maybe I'll just put this white one there. And then I got that in there. Okay. This is it. There you have it. And you could put as many tags in as you want. You could print this a bunch of times. You could have made this paper into a tag. You could, cut this in such a way that it became a tag. You could, chop this and make it a tag. You start to use your imagination and see what you can do with it. But there you have it, y'all. There is my folio for you to use as what I like to call a deconstructed art journal, or a way to just keep your creative practice with you. It's thin. Look how thin it is. You've got a bunch of tags that you can work with. The joy of it is when you've decorated all the tags, you could pull them out, fill the folio again with more blank tags or blank watercolor paper or whatever it is that you love to work on. Maybe you decide that, this time it's all sketch paper and you're just going to do some doodling. Maybe it's all watercolor paper because this time you're going to take it outside or on a trip and you're just going to do some quick watercolor sketches. So whatever works for you. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you're new here, please, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, make a comment. Even if you're not new here, please give it a thumbs up. Tell me if this is something that you would love. The folios will be available in my Etsy shop. They are printables. The information is below, and you currently have 3 to choose from. All right. I will see you all in another video. Happy creating, my friends.